Hey, man, so we're going to go full course now and then the East course. So overall, I think this looks like a really good lap. What I really like here in turn one, you actually look really good through turn one on entry, is we'll go ahead and pause. And one of the things we talked about in the last video was not trail braking. See here, we're getting to the apex. We're still on the brakes. If you look there in the top right, up here, still on the brakes. That's fantastic. Exactly what I want to see. So continue to work on that, and that means we're rolling better entry speed. Right here, nice throttle. Only thing I'd have here is I think we can use a little bit more road out here on the exit. That'll allow you to get to full throttle earlier. I think we're just sacrificing too much to set up for this corner. I think we can use more road on the exit of this corner, more road here, roll more speed through this corner. Just a little bit more everywhere, it kind of adds up. So again, we kind of set up too much for this. We're not able to get the full throttle. And then I think we hold it too much to the right here, which is the right idea. We're setting up to the right hand, but I think we could use an extra car with their so to the left and still hustle it all the way back to the right. Coming here, nice entry. Early to throttle here a little bit. We probably could roll a little bit more entry speed, but more what I want to talk about here is we're still pinching it on exit. And this is kind of the number one thing we talked about in the last video for the East course. We have all of this road out here on the exit curbing. We don't use any of it. Now, if you have a rule during the sessions, you could use that curb. That's one thing. But we're just costing ourselves free track out there. We're pinching the car. We're scrubbing speed. We're not opening our hands, so we're not able to get the full throttle because of that. So let's try to use all of the track, especially exit curbs like that. This corner here, I think you actually look really solid through. I think we have a little bit more entry speed available. I'd like to see you almost not need to get back to much throttle, roll enough speed through here to where we don't need this additional throttle in between the two corners. But that's just a small little deal. Missed the apex a little bit here. So I'd like to see you just really nicking this apex curve. Nice through the middle of it. Nice. This is a kind of a weird radius corner here. Right here, I think we can get our eyes up earlier, open our hands earlier, and use more of the track earlier. You're going to use the road because you know you're supposed to, but you're not racing the car out there. You're not fighting the car out to the exit curb. You're kind of driving it out there. So again, similar thing. I think we can get our eyes up earlier, open the hands earlier, and have a wider arc out there than we will do. So if we go a little bit farther forward here. So like you mentioned, you don't end up using all the road out here earlier. All the road out here at this lap. And I know you had mentioned that you had saw that. So let's take that out of context, because I know you already know that. But I'd rather see your line at this point be something more like this rather than something more like that. And the biggest difference here is you're out to the exit curb earlier into the corner. It means you're opening your hands earlier, where here you're holding it longer. You're scrubbing speed. So really it's trying to get your hands open as early as possible. And typically you want to be out to the exit curb actually pretty early onto the exit curb. So again, obvious, I know you mentioned it, really make sure we're using all of the road out there to the left-hand side over here. You can see we still have a ton of room out there. That's free time. That's easy time. So let's make sure we're taking advantage of that. Okay, and that'll help you obviously all the way down the straightaway here. So we're taking a look, taking a look, taking a look. Nice brake zone. Still trail braking. So again, similar. It's better than it was before, but you can see we're going to throttle and we're not at the apex yet. So we could probably brake deeper, brake lighter, carry those brakes longer into the corner, and that'll help you get to full throttle earlier. So we're just getting to full throttle now. If you kept it later and longer, we could get to full throttle earlier. And once again, there's a little bit of road out here on the left-hand side that we're not using. I'd like to see you at least get out and nibble this curb out here, or actually put a whole tire on that curb. Use all the road when you've got it. That'll really help you. Look here. Nice. So like you mentioned, you've lost time on the kink. Entry is good. The biggest thing here, and it's kind of consistent everywhere, and I don't want to hit on this too hard because you already mentioned it, but we can see we're not using all of the track out over here. If we're not using all the track out, obviously we know overslowed, but even if you overslow, at least drive out there. Let the car be free all the way out there, even if you know you've overslowed. So just something I want to really hit on this one is just consistently using as much track as you can on exit. So let's keep going here. Nice job hustling the back to the right side of the road. Break it down. Very late apex. So for me, the late apex is okay there. What I would want to say is this right here, what's coming up, if I can draw right quick, you kind of go straight and then have a really aggressive turn back to the left here. I'd like to see you have more of a nice arc, and you can still make it back to the spot. So I'd like to see more like the green line here, less like the red line. That aggressive turn is just going to scrub a little speed. Now, this isn't worth a lot of time. It's more of mentality on track. It'll also help keep your tires a little cooler. So just look at this full speed. You'll see the aggressive turn. So if we go right here, that right there, that aggressive turn there, you do want to end up on the left-hand side of the road, but we can just have a nicer arc over to it and end up still on the left side of the road here. Turning in. I think we can bring a little bit more speed into here. Again, we've missed the apex just a little bit here. I'd like to see you nibble that apex curb to our right. Just nibble this little area here. And that's just helps you flow a little bit more speed. Open the radius of the corner. Very nice. Good on exit. So again, we're not using all of this road out here early. You kind of end up only getting out to the edge of the road over here. So open those hands, use that road. Even if you're full throttle, let the car be free. You're going to scrub less speed that way. So make sure we're using all the road. Braking nice, 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 nice. Nice trail brake, so you're almost there. Again, we can just, this one's much better than earlier corners, but we can just trail brake that a little bit longer, all the way down the apex. We're just barely picking up the throttle here. I'd like to see you a car length later to pick up the throttle. Nice better out of this last corner there. I think we could use all of the road, but that was overall very, very nice. So overall, great lap. Main thing is really that opening the hands on the exit everywhere.
Yes, it's probably my last run.
All right, so we're gonna go fast forward just a little bit here, getting ready for your run. All right. Okay. Let's go. Nice launch. So once again, like we talked about, trying to use a little bit more road out of here, sacrifice less for this right-hander. Better this lap. So it was a little bit more fluid. You used a little bit more road. So this is more the line that I'd like to see you through this section here. Again, we're pinching there. You can see how much wheel we still have in the car, how much room we've got available out here still. So I'd like to see you really all the way out here already, pretty much. So really just keep focusing on getting those eyes up, using the road on exit. That'll really help. There we go. I think we overslowed here this lap. I think we brought in more entry speed on the previous lap, just visually looking at it. So I think we can continue to work on bringing that entry speed into this corner. Probably sacrificing just a little bit less for the entry of this corner. Missing the apex just a little bit. What I would probably say here, just a suggestion online, is I'd like to see you try this. It may not be quite as good, but I'd like to see you actually end up using all of the road out here, not sacrificing on the entry. And I'll show you what my thought process is here. So you can obviously bring in much more entry speed here. What ends up happening is at this point, you end up in a very similar spot, and then you kind of have a more traditional double apex. So you have a shallower line here going to the outside, so you can roll, again, more speed in through this first section. And then what ends up happening is you end up in almost the same spot, as where you are now, but you don't need to sacrifice as much through the first half of this corner. So just an idea, suggestion. It may not work as well because I haven't driven your car on your track, but I think looking at it, we can bring a lot more speed into that first section, worry less about setting up, and you can end up in the same spot right now without sacrificing as much. Then boom, good to go. That looks good. Throttle, throttle, throttle. Again, at this point, one of the things we keep talking about, I want to see you open those hands. Get out there where we're driving more like this. So I want to see more like the green line here. Open those hands, open those hands, open those hands. Use all that road on exit. That's going to really help you. And let's go back a little bit. See here. We know we've overslowed because looking at that throttle, just not enough entry speed here. So again, we can brake deeper and lighter here. Roll that entry speed. You've got the right idea. You want to be early to throttle here because you have a long straightaway coming up. You want to be an exit speed corner, but we don't want to be on throttle before the apex, really. I'd rather see you getting to the throttle roughly right around there, and that'll allow you to have less understeer on exit, commit to full throttle earlier. Better job this lap using all the road on exit. We can still work on that. Better job. See if we. Okay, good. Lap. Awesome. So thanks again for using Racers360. Really, what I would say is really work on getting those eyes up on exit. Try to unwind the wheels early as possible. Use that road on exit. It's free lap time for you. And what's great about it is it's actually really easy. It's going to be easy lap time for you to gain. You'll also put less heat in your tires. It's really going to be a big thing. And then, again, continue to work on rolling more entry speed, trying to pick up throttle a little bit later, and that'll help you get the full throttle earlier. So thanks again for using Racers360. We really appreciate it. If you've got any questions, send me an email. And best of luck on track. Hope to see you at a racetrack soon.